In the hills of Thailand, there lived a farmer named Kasem, cultivating crops that sustained his family and village. He was married to a loving woman named Suni, and together they led a modest life filled with the simple joys of hard work, home-cooked meals, and evening walks by the river. For years, Kasem and Suni's marriage flourished, their bond growing stronger with each passing season. Yet, beneath the surface, a subtle discontent festered within Kasem. The monotonous routine of village life began to weigh on him, and he yearned for more excitement, more opportunity, and more than what his humble existence offered. So he decided to leave his wife and go to the big city to seek success. In his quest for success, Kasem began to indulge in luxuries, dining at lavish restaurants, buying extravagant clothes, and mingling with the city's elite. It was during one such gathering that Kasem met a woman named Chandra. Chandra, with her dark hair cascading down her back and her eyes sparkling like sapphires, captivated Kasem. The two began a whirlwind affair, dining at the city's finest restaurants, attending galas, and dancing late into the night. For a time, Kasem felt a fleeting joy, but the void within him remained. Weeks passed, and the affair continued until one day, Kasem received a letter from Suni. Her handwriting, familiar and delicate, filled the page with words of love and longing. Kasem felt a pang of guilt gnaw at his chest, the letter slipping from his trembling fingers. The words struck him like a blow, the memory of Suni's loving face flashing before his eyes. A sense of betrayal washed over him, the weight of his actions crashing down. He had abandoned his wife, his home, and his humble life in pursuit of wealth and success. And now, he had betrayed Suni further by indulging in an affair with another woman. The following days were a blur for Kasem, the city's bustling streets and neon lights failing to bring him the joy they once did. The void within him deepened, and the gnawing guilt grew unbearable. One evening, while wandering aimlessly through the city, Kasem stumbled upon a serene temple. Its gates stood open, revealing a peaceful courtyard filled with meditating monks. Drawn by a sudden urge, Kasem entered, his footsteps echoing softly against the stone tiles. As he wandered the courtyard, a monk approached him, his face serene and eyes gleaming with wisdom. "You seem troubled, my friend," the monk said gently. "What burdens your heart?" Kasem hesitated, glancing at the monk's simple robes and peaceful demeanor. "I came to the city to find success," he confessed, his voice tinged with frustration. "But despite my wealth and status, I feel a void within me." The monk nodded, his expression contemplative. "In Buddhism, we teach that suffering arises from attachment to wealth, status, and desires. The path to true happiness lies not in chasing these illusions, but in letting go and finding contentment within." Kasem's brow furrowed, the monk's words stirring something within him. "But how can I find contentment when I've betrayed my wife and abandoned my simple life?" The monk's eyes softened, his gaze piercing into Kasem's troubled soul. "True contentment comes from within, from embracing the present moment and recognizing the interconnectedness of all things. Your journey has brought you here, but it can also lead you back to where you belong." Kasem felt a surge of realization wash over him, his heart pounding in his chest. Without another word, he bowed to the monk and left the temple, his mind racing. The bustling city streets seemed to blur around him as he made his way back to his apartment, where he hastily packed his belongings. Days later, Kasem returned to his village, his heart pounding as he approached his modest home. The fields, now overgrown, whispered in the breeze, reminding him of the life he had left behind. But Kasem felt no regret, only a renewed sense of purpose. Suni emerged from the house, her eyes widening in surprise at the sight of her husband. Kasem approached her, his heart aching at the pain in her eyes. "Suni, I've realized that true happiness lies not in wealth or success, but in the simple joys of our life together," he said, his voice earnest. "I'm sorry for abandoning you and betraying your trust." Tears welled in Suni's eyes as she embraced him tightly, her heart swelling with relief. "I'm glad you found your way back," she whispered. From that day forward, Kasem devoted himself to his fields and his wife, working side by side with Suni to rebuild their simple life. They found contentment in the modest joys of their daily routine. They tended their fields, shared meals with their neighbors, and watched the seasons change, their love deepening with each passing year. His tale reminds others that true happiness lies not in the pursuit of wealth or success, but in the simple joys of a life lived with devotion and contentment. And thus, his story became a cherished fable, passed down through generations, inspiring others to seek peace and fulfillment in their own hearts and lives. Finally, the Zen Master team is dedicated to exploring meditation, spiritual growth, life, philosophy, and mindfulness, with the goal of bringing you inner peace and inspiration. Don't forget to subscribe and activate notifications to join us on this enlightening journey. Together, let's cultivate a mind that is both calm and joyful.